Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Seattle Wallace, and I am the creator of Women of Color STEM Leadership Lab. It's Black History Month, and I would be completely remiss if I did not give honor and attention to this beautiful time. You know, a lot of times I think that in the African American community, we kind of joke around, oh, well, why is it that we got the shortest month? And, yes, there are way too many accomplishments and great things about being African American that, a short 28, 29 days is really not enough. But at the same time, that time is an opportunity for everyone in the world to be able to focus on and celebrate what it is that we bring to our planet and to our communities, which is a great thing. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I think that oftentimes when people ask, as a woman of color, especially as a Black woman, how has it been for you to be in the workforce, for you to be in STEM? And yeah, there's a lot of struggles, right? There's definitely a lot of things that can be very challenging about being in this space, especially because of all the stereotypes that we have seen about what Black people and women can accomplish. But I'm not here to do that, to talk about that, because we're celebrating, we're talking about Black History Month. I feel like I have been so lucky and blessed to have been born as a Black woman. It is a privilege and an honor to hold myself in this identity. When I was growing up, my parents were very big on making sure that I was very proud of being African American, of being of African heritage. And there was really nothing that was talked about in terms of it being bad. Of course, they talked about the oppression and discrimination, but in terms of like who we are as a people, it was always pride, because my family knew, and I learned on my own as well, the history of the accomplishments that we were able to achieve. This is, going way back into antiquity, and then also thinking about just even in current times. Right? There's so many things in terms of inventions, in terms of the contributions to our culture, in terms of the leadership. The list goes on, right? And then the way that it's done is creative, it's just soulful and just incredible, right? And so there's no need for, in my mind, for there to be any negative thoughts about being Black. That it was just like, of course, it's great. But when I think about the fact that all of these accomplishments have happened when we're talking about modern times anyway, and when I say modern, I'm talking about in the last 500 years, we have been achieving these things in a system that has been trying to oppress that success with the stereotypes, with enslavement, with colonization, with segregation, and now, of course, with all of the racial tension and trauma and oppression that's happening and marginalization. The fact that African Americans have still, and African people of the diaspora have still been able to climb to levels of success, holding on to values, contributing creatively, having great ideas, and then also, really speaking out about the injustices that we see in the world and being vocal and the leaders in those spaces, right? Is miraculous. It's like, wow, if all of these forces that were trying to stop African Americans from being successful weren't there, can you imagine how much more we would be able to contribute to this world? So that is the reason that I wanted to first celebrate, because the things that we have accomplished have been incredible. But also it allows me to say, you know what, we need to see that in ourselves. We need to celebrate and understand that our ancestors from antiquity and the ancestors that experienced enslavement, that experienced segregation and colonization, they passed down to us these gifts, these tools of being creative, of being resourceful, of building together as a community, as a team, to come up with things that would push our world in a better place. These gifts we have in us. And so we use them all the time in our communities and our families, and really trying to think about how we're going to make things work, or when we're at work and we feel like we are undergoing racism or other types of stereotypes and oppressions, we have to figure out how to navigate that space and still focus and still have a light heart. These things are leadership. And so instead of us just kind of doing it and saying, oh, that's just the way that it is, we walk with it in pride and we own it, right? We own that identity of being leaders. We own the identity of being great. We own the identity of our accomplishments, not only just for ourselves, but then we claim it in our workspaces. We say, you know what? I am going to raise my hand to chair that particular committee, or to take on the project lead for something in my job, or to go into my community and say, I'm going to be an advocate for something. These are all things that we know how to do, that we're brilliant at doing, and that the world needs more of. And so for Black History Month, again, I'm going to shout out that women of color, including Black women, are leaders in STEM. And my work is here to support diversity in the STEM field, particularly focused on women, in terms of us moving through the leadership ladder, because we have the skills, our history has proven it, and the world needs us. Get out there, celebrate Black History Month, learn a little bit more about how African-American, and particularly African-American women, have contributed to science, technology, engineering, and math, and you'll be blown away.